Welcome back, everyone, to Coffee Unlimited with J and D. If you caught us last week, you would have heard that we kicked off a series on cracking beliefs. So we explored where our belief systems originated from, and we talked a bit about the journey Danielle and I have been on to around questioning our beliefs and looking at the impact of our belief systems on our lives. And so it was a really great discussion. I know a lot of you are excited to go deeper on this topic. So here we are. And we thought that what the topic we could explore today is our belief systems around body image, where it arises, and what the impact is. And so, Danielle, you and I have had some conversations about this, and we've, with each other, have shared some funny stories around when we started to question our beliefs, when we were kind of just thrust into an environment where we were forced to question our beliefs around our bodies. And really, it was around sometimes when we were traveling outside of North America.
Hmm.
Danielle, I'm wondering if you could kind of kick this off and share a bit about your journey around body image, and when in your life did you start questioning the beliefs, or at least recognizing that other cultures have different beliefs about our bodies?
Hmm. Thank you for introducing this topic, Janelle. I think I want to start by saying that we're both in North America. We both
Mm-hmm.
have been born and raised here, although we've traveled quite a bit. We both have Asian moms and white
Mm-hmm.
dads. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot to unpack just in that too. But I mean, I remember even before moving to Europe, I of just like having the being raised by my mom, and we have a very similar body type. So she's Japanese, very small breasts, longer torso, shorter legs. I look pretty much like how my mom does. And I just remember when all the girls, we were hitting puberty, 12, 13, 14, and the other girls were developing and I wasn't. I remember even just with my mom, she'd be like, I'm so sorry, Mika-chan. I'm so sorry that I gave you my small breasts. So there was already that language that
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to.
An
So
apology.
an apology, like, oh, and then just at school too, being teased about not having breasts. So there was all of that I was working through, and still I'm working through. I actually did. I know I shared this with you previously, but after I had Gabby and my boobs, looked fabulous. Again, here's my conditioned thought of what I think fabulous boobs are. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I had full breasts. Then, after I stopped nursing her, so she was my second child, they deflated. And I was like, oh, okay, what do I do now? I was teaching yoga and dance at athletic clubs, and there were a lot of women with implants there. And so I started to think, oh, maybe I should get some implants too. So I went to see a plastic surgeon. As soon as she started to tell me, we're going to cut you, this is the bag, you're going to cut into the pectoral muscles, this is what you're going to feel like, this is the recovery. And I just remember thinking to myself at that time, I'm paying you to cut me for aesthetic reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so I backed out of it immediately. I was like,
Yeah.
this isn't for me. But now, I'm like questioning that belief too of like, what is what is attractive? Whatever, to each their own. But so I just wanted
Mm-hmm.
to share that kind of personal story of some of the things that I've struggled with in terms of my body. But
Mm-hmm.
when I moved over to Europe, to Germany, I was 19 years old, and I had this belief system that you cover your body. You
Mm-hmm.
don't lie out on the beach naked. I mean, nobody really does that unless you go to a nude beach. And at that point, I was thinking, oh, this is just for like but people not like me who are going to go to the nude beach or something. They're
Yeah.
up to no good.
Yes, yes.
It's just a
There's a
bunch of
belief.
naked men.
Well, there's a belief established around the type of people who go to nude beaches,
Right.
right? In North America, in North America.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So when I went to Germany, I had a boyfriend there who was very sweet, and he was just naked all the time, naked with his family, walking around. And I just thought, this, hold up.
Wait a minute here.
Let's just pause for a moment. So I thought, okay, okay, naked with the family. I mean, naked with the nieces, like little, little girl or a nephew. Just, it was just so normal. But for me, it was very foreign. And then I remember this one time where we were just laying out in the sun because I started to get a little bit more comfortable too. I lived there for many years. So I thought, okay, I'll just lay out naked. Nobody can see me.
Mhm.
It's just him. And then all of a sudden, his friends came in. I didn't know that they were coming. They come in a couple, so a man and a woman, a straight couple. And I freaked out because they saw me
Because
naked.
you're naked? Yeah.
Yeah, I freaked out. He didn't freak out at all. He went to hug them, greet them, just dangling around. I'm like, is this guy gonna put a towel on or some shorts or just put some underwear on, please? Like, and then I'm all like, oh my gosh, I gotta put my clothes on, quickly put my clothes on. And then the friends start to take all their clothes off too. So they're all just walking around.
Oh my
I
gosh.
just, I was the odd one. So my
Yes.
belief system was you should not be walking around naked with your
Hmm.
friends or your family, but I was trying to warm up to the family piece just because I was
Yeah.
seeing that so often. But their belief was like, look at this North American. I don't know if they thought I was a prude, but like
Hmm.
I'm obviously not comfortable being naked with other people. And so they had an
Yeah.
entirely different belief system because that's the way they grew up was just, the body. And what I noticed about them too, they weren't so nitpicky. And I know I'm generalizing right now, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm flat chested or my butt's too big. I felt like generalizing, they felt a lot more comfortable in I mean, literally, they were more
Mm.
comfortable in their birthday suit and walking around in it than I was.
It's as if they epitomize being comfortable in your own skin. Like,
Yeah.
truly, if you think about it, how literal that is,
Oh, yeah.
and how, yeah, you think we have this belief to cover, as North Americans, we have this belief to cover your body. I remember when I went to Europe, same exact, no, I didn't have a boyfriend that was walking around and I wasn't hugging his friends naked. But I remember being in Europe and meeting a family that the entire family, most of the time when they were home, and they had two young kids and then the two parents, they were naked when they were home. And so, when they woke up to go to breakfast, the kids were naked, the parents were naked. And that was the first time I had ever heard of such a thing. Like, when I tell you that I was flabbergasted, that's probably an understatement. I could not fathom that environment. I could not fathom. And then, but now when I think about it, in hindsight, as I've grown and matured and really questioned why I'm so ashamed of my body, like why am I so quick to cover it up? Why am I so embarrassed by my body? I actually admire these cultures and these people that can just literally walk around with zero fucks about who sees their body naked. I wish I had that level of comfort and that level of freedom. Now, I say that I wish that. Like, there is no way that I'm going to just start walking around my house naked. Like, no way. I'm not there. I think
Okay,
my
I'm going to
condition,
challenge you, Janelle. I'm going to
you
challenge
can
us.
please do.
The next time you come over, we're going to walk around the house naked.
Naked, you and I. I'm honest. I think you would have to really drug me up or something. I don't think I could actually do it. There's a nude beach here in Vancouver. I've never been to it, but I have friends that, they affectionately call it Butthole Beach because their kids have named it Butthole Beach because of all the buttholes they see when they go there.
Oh my gosh.
And so I call it Butthole Beach. The average person calls it Wreck Beach. I think that's the name of the nude beach here in Vancouver. And I've been curious to go, but if I did go, I wouldn't get naked. I don't think I could get naked, but I'm curious to see these just free-spirited people that are so comfortable in their own skin. And I think to
Yes.
myself, maybe I could strive to be at that level of comfort because you think about it, if they're that comfortable, then I would imagine they have a pretty healthy belief system about their own body as well as
Mm-hmm.
a belief system about other bodies, because what I don't think is happening at a nude beach or in a nude backyard when friends come over, I don't think that people are looking around judging other people's bodies. I don't think that's what's happening there. I think
Right.
people are simply living and enjoying the beach, enjoying the backyard, enjoying the
Mm-hmm.
suntan, whatever it might be, without this narrative and criticism around how someone's body looks, how they're shaped, the cellulite, anything like that.
Yeah.
And I can imagine what that freedom would feel like.
Mm.
And I think that North Americans could really learn a lot from that sort of mindset. And so, all that to say, maybe we should challenge ourselves, Danielle. I mean,
Yes.
I think my kids would be horrified if they saw me naked. I really do. I think that
Cooking. There's mommy
just
cooking.
because like back to school is starting. What if on the first day of school they just came down for breakfast and I'm just in the kitchen naked? Oh my God, I think I'm like embarrassed just thinking about it. I really can't fathom it. But
Oh,
maybe
but
there
how
will be a
liberating.
day. It would be liberating. Like
Yes.
honestly, it would be liberating.
I think,
And so
Janelle, I'm going to challenge you to do that. That would be so fun. So,
maybe I'll just start being in my underwear. Like
yeah.
maybe that's the gateway is underwear around the house. I don't know, but all that to say, I mean, let's go back to why we have why we're having this conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and it is around these beliefs and these thoughts that we as society and we as women have about our bodies. And I think
Absolutely.
you and I can both agree that there is a really unhealthy narrative and an unhealthy standard that's been established by media, by cultures, by just society. It's the repetition. It's me saying someone is fat and that's ugly, and then someone else hearing it and then them saying, oh, someone is fat and ugly. And it's this perpetual sharing of a belief system that creates the conditions in which people hate their own bodies. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
really sad thing. I've spent a lot of my life hating my body or trying to make it better. And it's sad to think how much time I've wasted and how much energy I've wasted on that. And I
Yeah.
know that countless others do the same. I know it. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I think about collective humanity, and this isn't just a female issue, it's not just females that have these conditioned beliefs, but I do think women disproportionately body shame ourselves and each other. And so we need to stop it. We really do.
Mm-hmm.
And so Danielle, what would you say? If someone listening here does have some negative thoughts about their body in
Mm-hmm.
whatever way, what advice might you give them to start cracking those belief systems and creating a new or being opening the door for a new narrative of
Mm-hmm.
acceptance?
Well, I think it's understanding where that belief came from. So
Mm-hmm.
whether that's marketing, society, or their parent, or whatever it was, just recognizing that it didn't come from them. Like it
No.
didn't originate from them. And then something that I've been working on because, raising two daughters, I really wanted them to have a body image that was healthy and whatever size they were, that they were accepting and embracing their bodies. What I realize is that I can say all of that to my kids, but if I'm speaking to myself negatively, that's what they listen to, that's what they hear. And
Hmm.
so I noticed myself whenever Blanca, who you spent a lot of time with this weekend, when she would take a lot of photos of me, and she's like, "Oh, mommy, you look so cute." I would right away say something negative about my looks. Oh, the bags under my eyes, or my gray hair, or frizz, or flat, or fat, or whatever, something
Mm.
negative. And then she would encourage me, like, "No, you look so cute." And I thought, what am I doing? I am trying to raise these two girls to have confident self body images. And here I am talking myself, putting myself down in front of them as well. So I stopped doing that. Now, when I look at a photo, I'm like, cute. Yeah.
Post.
Youthful. Mommy's looking good. But there's a
Mm.
study out there that for every negative thought, you have to actually have 5 positive thoughts to override that negative one. I
Wow,
think it was
because
that
as
1 to 5.
I didn't know that stat, but I do know as humans we have a negativity bias,
Absolutely. It's so
meaning
easy to be negative.
we put more effort and emphasis on our negative thoughts, and we attach to the negativity as opposed to
Yes.
the positivity. So it makes sense that we would have to overcompensate, but that's pretty stark, 1 to 5.
But doesn't that
Yeah,
make sense? Because we
it
wait
does.
like that negative, or even when we receive a piece of feedback, even if we've received some positive feedback too, the negative one is probably the one that we're holding on to
Mhm.
and ruminating over. So
Yeah.
we need a handful of those positive ones to just have them be kind of in that space where we can see both.
That's a really good example because I think probably everyone has been in a situation in their life, whether through work or sports or something where they heard something negative or they received negative feedback. And to your point, that is what stayed with them. Even
Mm-hmm.
though countless other people said something positive, what sticks with them beyond the moment is the negative feedback. And so we take it back to this body image. Every thought that we have about ourselves when we see our reflection in a window or look in the mirror, we're going to jump to the negative thought, because our mind is conditioned to do it. And we will hold on to that, even if we scan and say, oh, but that looks cute, or that looks cute, or, we
Mm-hmm.
think other things look good. What's going to stick with us the rest of the day is how our thighs looked, negatively in the window.
Right.
And so it's really interesting to understand how the human mind works and to mitigate as best as you can our biases towards that
Mm-hmm.
negative. And so I do think you know, intentionally focusing on the positives,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on, if you do find yourself looking in a mirror and thinking, oh, the bag's under my eyes, recognize that you thought that and probably know that now I'm going to be thinking about that the rest of the day. But also then take the time to say, oh, but look, my skin is clear. And oh, look, this looks really nice on me. And oh, my hair looks great today. But you
Yeah.
have to intentionally do it. Otherwise, you don't stand a chance to feel good
No,
about yourself. You really don't.
absolutely. It's a
So that's really
practice.
helpful. That's really helpful to know how our mind works. And unfortunately, it is what it is. Unfortunately, our mind is going to do that. Our mind is
Mm-hmm.
going to prioritize the negative. Our mind is going to need 5 times the positive to counteract the negative. That's just how it's built. That's the hand we've been dealt. So, we have to think about what we can do to work within those parameters,
Yeah.
because the impact is because it's important to recognize that the impact is negative to us and negative to
Mm-hmm.
those around us. So if we want to live a happy life, we have to live intentionally with how we think about ourselves and how we speak about ourselves, and what information we consume. So I stopped following personally years ago. On Instagram, I used to follow a lot of accounts of women who were, just, kind of fitness people or
Yeah.
influencers that just had really like the body that I wanted,
Hmm.
and I told myself, oh, I'm going to follow them as inspiration so that I will be inspired to work out like them or inspired to look like them. But what I found was it just made me feel bad about myself. And
Yeah.
so probably about 8 years ago, I intentionally unfollowed all of those accounts. And
Hmm.
that's what you have to do. You have to continually audit what you're taking in and
Yes.
what you're saying, outwardly and inwardly about yourself. And that's how we start to reshape our thoughts and beliefs. And like I
Hmm.
said, unfortunately, our thoughts are probably still going to be there. But if we can crack the beliefs, you and I, we traveled and our beliefs about bodies and covering up bodies were changed. I really do think one of the keys to cracking our belief system is exposing ourselves to different cultures. And the easiest way to do that is to travel,
Hmm.
or you seek out in your own community, you seek out people who live differently than you do.
Yes.
But if you just take yourself and immerse yourself in another culture, you're going to quickly see that other people in the world do have different beliefs, can live their lives differently, and there's nothing wrong with it. Our instinct might be to say, "Oh, this is wrong," just like you and I did. "Oh, it's
Hmm.
wrong that they're walking around naked." But actually, who's to say that's wrong? We weren't born with clothes. So,
Yeah.
so at some point, someone thought I should cover up. And then at some point, someone says you should cover it up. And then,
Hmm.
some governments make it illegal to walk around naked. Like,
Yeah.
you think about it, you talking about your boyfriend that was naked in front of nieces, that could get you arrested in North America. I really think it would just get you arrested. But it's because of society's beliefs, but it's not inherently a bad
But
thing.
yeah,
It's not
it's
inherently bad.
society's belief that if you're
Hmm.
naked, you're up to no good. You're going to do
Yes.
something that's going to
Hmm.
make you a pedophile, right? But it's
Hmm.
like, no, that's just how he was raised, and many of his
Hmm.
friends and
Yes.
his family were raised as well to just
Yeah.
be absolutely okay and accepting. And it actually kind of makes the body less of a like, oh, we only see breasts when we're about to
Hmm.
make love or be
Yeah.
intimate with somebody, right? But it's like, no, breasts,
They're
butts,
just breasts.
whatever.
Men have them too.
Exactly. And
Nipples.
balls.
Men have those too.
It
I
demystifies the whole body and just puts it out into the open there.
Which is I think is a good thing. I think we really do need to question just this idea that the body is something that is, so mysterious. When in reality, everyone has kind of the same body.
Exactly.
It comes in different shapes
It's
and sizes and
similar.
colors, but it has a lot of the same parts.
That's,
But yeah, so this has been such a good conversation, Danielle.
I know.
I love this, and I'm so curious where our next episode of Cracking Beliefs is going to go. I think we could talk about gender. I think we could talk about, roles within gender. I just think
Hmm.
there's so much that
Relationships.
is
Yeah.
relationships exactly. And I'm just really, really excited for where these conversations are going to go.
I love it, Janelle. Well, thank you for listening to our conversations, and I hope you're getting some fun and lightness and some tools to help you navigate when you have those negative thoughts. And maybe there's some challenges too. Like Janelle and I think we're going to take on this challenge of, well, you can start with your underwear. Maybe I'm just
Yeah,
going to walk out of this podcast right now and say hi to
naked.
Blanca naked and to Scott. And then maybe go outside in the backyard, wave to my neighbor, who is actually German, but she's from West Germany. And so
Okay.
it's also a
Okay.
little different there too. I'll just be like, Schatzi, wie
Hey.
geht's?
Oh my
Anyway,
goodness.
if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe to our channel. You can reach out to us on Instagram at Coffee Unlimited with J and D, and send us a topic. We love hearing from our listeners and talking about all things. I mean, Coffee Unlimited, where no topic is off limits.
Exactly. Well,
Thanks,
bye everyone.
Janelle.
Tune in next week. We'll see you soon.